Neve. Hello, Neve Duffy. Imelda. Olivia. We'll just give it a few moments and then we're going to start our little chat about life after lockdown. Life after lockdown. What's it going to be? How's it going to work out for everybody? Hi, Freddie. So, just while we're waiting for a few others to join us and before we just get going, just to make sure that everybody's up to speed, we're talking about life after lockdown in a moment, and it's going to be interesting to see your take on it, your perception on it. All us psychics and mediums didn't really realise that we were going to have all this come up, thrust upon us in on the 12th of March this year, when we went into lockdown in Ireland anyway, and other countries before that. So hello, Diane. I don't think many of us saw it coming, to be honest with you. And certainly not to the level or the extent that it is or has been for every single one of us. So what we're going to talk about for a few moments is just about how has it changed us? What have we learned? How has it affected us? How has it impacted upon us individually and collectively? And where do we go from here? How do we come out of it? How do we move forward from this experience? But moreover, what has it taught us? Why did it happen? Yeah, thanks, Laura Ward. You've noticed the picture behind me is the picture from Facebook or from the internet. It is the stairway to heaven. I'm actually in my meditation room now, and we were very fortunate a few years ago when this was converted. It's in an attic in the room of in my house in Sligo, where I'm talking to you from today, and it is the stairway to heaven. It's where I do most of my readings at home and my meditation work as well. And there's one or two other little things going on in the room. I'll just flash you around while we're waiting for a few others. And that is the angel on the other end of the room there. So, and a few clouds in the sky was painted on the ceiling for us as well. So I've never had so much free time, probably never again. I'm so focused on my goals, and guess what? I left quarantine as a winner. Yeah, that's great, Maya, and it's so interesting to hear politicians and people who are supposed to be guiding us through this and taking us out of this, governments throughout the world, trying to get us back to where we were, back to normal, back to economic recovery and so on and so forth. But I think there's a bigger lesson to be learned, or bigger message in all of this for all of us, both now and going forward. And it is going to change our lives, no doubt about that, no question about that. Well, thankfully, the Mind, Body, Spirit shows will start to re-emerge again as and when available through Freddie and the team, and the Mind, Body experience, which he's organised so well. Well done, Freddie. The Galway one, and particularly the Dublin one. So we will be back in person so that you can pinch us or punch us or tell us that we got it all wrong. But it's really, really interesting. What have we learned? First of all, I think this is all meant to have happened at some stage in our lives, where we stop, literally, and the world sort of stopped, just to take time to reassess what it is we're about, and what we're supposed to be about, and how it's affected us. I mean, for me, I used to go into the shops probably every day for something. I needed either meat or milk or something. Now I'm sort of more programmed to doing a weekly shop. I love shopping. I do most of our shopping for myself and Annette and my dog Sam, and I always think I'm a better buyer than she is, but I go for the good values and the bargains and so on. But joking aside, it's stopped me doing that on a sort of almost daily basis. I'll pop in for this or I'll pop in for that. So I plan what I'm going to buy and what we're going to have and what we need and so on. We go in, and that means I'm not spending as much time waiting for a queue or spending my time in queues. I do it once a week now, and it pretty much covers us for the week, or even longer, sometimes 10 days or so. That's Sandra, I see. Do I see a picture of Sandra Good? The lady I keep on trying to avoid. I'm sorry, Sandra, it's just that whenever you text me for a reading, I always am up to my tonsils with something. And I think, I must get back to Sandra in Kilcock. And she's a lovely lady, and I'm nothing personal. And I promise to do that this week. That's a promise. Now, you've got a few witnesses online there. So I will text you later on during the week, and we'll sit down, we'll do a Zoom or a one-to-one reading. Oh, Bernie, hi, how are you? And again, I've got to get back to somebody you know, I think, as well, which I will do. So what I wanted to talk about, really, so we're pretty much on 3 o'clock. So what I want to talk about is, what have we learned from being in this lockdown? What's happened to us? Well, one thing we know is the natural kingdom, nature, weeds, plants, trees, flowers, they've continued. Throughout all this, it hasn't affected them. It's affected the human kingdom, but it hasn't affected the natural kingdom. So everything is growing. Everything is growing, including the dandelions and the weeds in the garden. The animal kingdom haven't been affected, thank God. So whatever this virus was, it hasn't affected sea animals, fish, birds, insects, creepy crawlers, ants. None of that has been affected. What it's been doing is talking about slowing us down. Life. What is life? Life is love, as far as I'm concerned. Love is for everyone. And that is about your inner love for yourself, first and foremost, above everybody else. And it's also about your love for other things around you. Yes, your home, your car, your insects, your pets, whatever it is. But it's about love. Love is for everyone. Spells life. And that's what we're here for. To have love and to enjoy love and to be in love and to be happy and content and satisfied and everything else. How do we get there? There are many ways of getting there. But it's loving yourself, it's loving your family, it's loving the place that you live, it's loving the situation that you're in at the moment. It's loving your work, and it's loving what you do and the interaction that you have with your local community and your local environment as well. There's been a great lesson here that we don't have to move to the other side of the world for a meeting. We don't have to travel unnecessarily. We can still interact through the internet and through the Facebook and other methods, but we can still communicate with our loved ones and the ones that people that mean so much to us around. It means that one thing is a disadvantage, we can't actually give each other a hug. And Irish people are very good at that, giving people hugs. But it is important to remember that we will get back to that stage at one stage or another. But we've had more time to connect, more time to have a greater understanding of our own needs, what we desire. More time to be compassionate. It's brought out a really, really good, compassionate situation and an appreciation for others. It's not just about the frontline workers, although we are very, very grateful to them, of course. It's not just about the nurses and the doctors. It's about the pharmacists. It's about the supermarket workers. It's about the people that deliver to the supermarkets at the early hours of the morning, delivering food and keeping us alive, so to speak. So I think what I've learned from this is an appreciation for what other people do in their life and how they can help us. Even the guards and the general practitioner, doctors and teachers. What about teachers? Gosh, I mean, for those of you who have children at home and have tried to keep a job online or working from home and teach and keep your children occupied through this 16 weeks or so, last 16 weeks has been another challenge that you've had to learn to deal with and how you've coped with it. And I think that it does, when I speak to a teacher now, I think I will appreciate and understand more about the contribution that they make to the world and how much we rely on them to teach our children and to take the burden off of us so that we can do something equally as important in the world and in our role. Have we learned more gratitude? I hope so. I think so. I think because of the appreciation that we have, that brings us to be grateful for the teachers and the HSE workers and the delivery drivers and so on. Has it taught us more patience? Well, for one who's not very patient on the road, I can tell you, I have noticed that people are picking up their speed a little bit more in the last 2 or 3 weeks. People that know me well. I'm not terribly patient when it comes to being a road user myself, and my wife will certainly tell you that. Having said that, I feel I will be more patient and tolerant of others. I think in that I realise I don't need to get there in that time scale, and that I've got a whole amount of time to get on. Appreciation for our family, appreciation for our friends, and appreciation for the volunteers. An awful lot of people during the lockdown got into this help mode, helping neighbours, helping fetch and carry tablets, and food and so on for older people, which was a tremendously good thing to have in a community and in a town or in a village, where you went out and you helped your neighbour, helped your fellow citizen, which was great. Have we learned to love? I certainly think after the incident and George Floyd and the Black Lives Matter movement, I have to say I was brought up in the 60s, and I thought that racism, and where I was brought up in England, I thought racism was something of the past. I certainly know now in my country, in England, there's a lot of black children with white children in the schools there. I had hoped, and I genuinely didn't realise that we still had that problem in 2020. And in certain countries, probably greater than others. But I realised that how important that is, to see other people not through the colour, but through the personality and the person they are. So, going forward, what are we doing? What changes are there? Massive changes. For example, I'm buying stuff online now, for God's sake, and I never thought I'd do that. And then I've got this tap and pay system, where you go in and you actually put your card down. I mean, for an old guy like me, this is quite something. And that is really about changes, cashless society. Will we need cash in future? Or certainly not as much. Working from home, which in one sense is good because it gives us more time, but in another sense it detaches us from the outside world. So we've got to balance that in the future, where we still get out and we still help people and we still interact with people. Yes, in a pub perhaps, but also in a restaurant or things like that, where you see people. You cannot hibernate forever. The entertainment sector, live music, live concerts, live sporting events, massive changes to come about there. The freedom to say goodbye to our loved ones who went into the spirit world and passed into the spirit world during this pandemic and during this time of shutdown, and even go to church, whatever church you choose to go to. But all this is about our life-changing events and how we have got to adjust our thinking going forward. But we have a mind. We all have an individual mind, and it's using that mind effectively and using it in a positive way going forward. This is not something to look back and say, well, we're missing out, we're losing out, we're not achieving what we normally achieve. We're going to achieve different things in different ways. And the way we get the best out of ourselves and the way that we get the best of others is to connect with our higher self, connect with the spirit world, and connect with what our true desires are. We can do this by praying, yes, or I choose to say asking. So I'm asking for things every day. I'm manifesting things, be that financial security, be that reconnection with loved ones. Understanding other people is a big one for me at the moment. Understanding their situation and understanding their challenges going forward. We all have desires. It's very, very simple. All you have to do is sit quietly and start to think about what it is that you desire. Now, a lot of mothers out there, a lot of family people say, well, no, actually, I'm worried about him, or I'm worried about her, or I'm worried about them. And really, in order to help others, you've really got to help yourself. And once you're able to help yourself, you're stronger and in a much more powerful situation to help others. It really is as simple as that. So reconnecting with yourself is this time that we've gone through and still currently going through is enabling us to reconnect with ourselves. But then we've got to look around and say, and certainly for me, in the last couple of weeks, people have come into my awareness that have had challenges which I can't necessarily help them with, but I know somebody who can, or I know how to do it. I've had family members who have had problems with their sexuality, for example. I've had family members these are people living a long way away from where I live, and mental health issues, which I was not aware of. and worries and people with anxiety and fear, because there's a lot of fear, and lack of self-esteem. And I am now finding that I am going to make more time for my family and the people around me that want my help, if I can give it, and hopefully I can. So it's not just about family and friends and people I know, it's about helping those other people in my life or have come into my life for a reason and trying to help them. How do I do this? Well, most of you know I'm a psychic medium, and don't do this alone. I do it with the help of the higher self, my guardian angels, my spiritual guides. There are many guises that these people come to me and give me messages to pass on to people. But I'm going to make it my ambition or my desire for certainly for the rest of this year, in 2020, to try and enable to connect with more love, more understanding for myself and for others, and to try and make a difference. To try and make a difference for those people, and for better relationships for people I don't even know, people that I just walk past my house and I say hello to, just to make their life differently if I can. And to listen to their stories a bit more, and to find out a little bit more about how we can impact or help them with the help of the spirit world. So that's where I'm going after lockdown. So after lockdown, it's about helping others as much as we can. I'm available. I'm available for readings, as people know. My number, if you want to phone and text, is 087 2900 639. From London or from outside of Ireland, you simply do 00353, drop the 0, just dial 8729000639. That's if you're outside, or you can get me on Facebook or whatever. You'll find me if it's meant to be. But here, trying to guide us out of this challenging situation. But I don't see it as a negative. I don't see us as going backwards. I see this as a realignment and a readjustment. Somebody said to me the other day, in a meditation group I attend on Wednesdays, that it was like a seed and a reseeding of what we do. And I found that very, very powerful, to think of us as reseeding ourselves going forward in the next decade, because we are in the 2020s. And although it hasn't started off too well for us, but that's only by comparison to what we used to have or what we have had. And did we really need most of it? Probably not. Will we be able to balance the books eventually? Of course we will. What matters is us and how we go forward. So here to help, here to understand, here to have a reading or a chat with Henry, whatever. I think I'm done. Start looking at life not the way it was, but the way it can be and the way it will be, and with the adjustments that we're all making to live in the new world, not as a negative, but as a positive. And what's your contribution? How can you contribute? How can you make your life better for you, first of all, and then you'll be able to help others. So that's me. I think I'm done. Love is for everyone. That's life. So make sure you love, first of all. And then once you love, you can love others and love what you do, love where you live, love the life you're leading, and enjoy it more especially. Because that's the only reason you're here, to have joy, happiness, contentment, excitement, love, affection, attention. Thanks for listening, guys. Available all the time. Just drop me a message or text me or whatever. 087 2900 639. And thanks for coming on and listening to this old guy rambling away for a bit. Enjoy the rest of Sunday. Enjoy the rest of this Mind Body Experience online event, because there's many more talks coming up, which is I'm sure going to be great as well. Okay, thanks a lot. Take care. Bye bye.